Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a flip through of my 2022 journals, which includes January through December. I used two notebooks this year. The first is a Filofax, and if you're familiar with my channel, then you know that I've been using a Filofax for a while. And then I actually bought an Archer and Olive notebook for my birthday this year, so I ended up using that for my August bullet journal. Now I'm going to be flipping through my first journal, which is the January through July, and then I started a new bullet journal for August. And so here I am flipping through it. For my beginning setup, I created kind of like little hearts and smiley face emojis and a bunch of different emoji kind of things with these bright colors, and I didn't like the setup as much, and so that's why you didn't see me recreating it for this year. I did something a little more neutral toned, and I didn't have very many setup pages, so we're moving right into January. You'll notice throughout this bullet journal setup that I use a lot of pages just for memories or for things I'm thinking of in the moment, or as you saw in the very beginning, I did a page for creating my Air Force Ones and I was going to paint them. So I love using my bullet journal not only for planning but also just for keeping memories and keeping track of other things in my life. My theme for January was a computer tab setup. If you're familiar with Amanda Rach Lee, you'll again notice this was taken from her, and a lot of the things that I do are kind of just my own version of other people's because I find it really hard to create themes that I like just out of my own brain. And so I did really love setting up this theme. I thought it was really fun and you can do lots of things with it. The next month was February, which was a rainy day theme. I created a little tab, as you saw from the calendar, that has more dates on it because I wanted more space. But then I did a lot more scrapbooking in this month with stickers and washi tape, and you'll notice that throughout the weekly spreads. For this next page, you'll notice it is a very simple weekly spread. I was not feeling creative that month or that week, and so I just took a lined piece of paper. I wrote the 6 days of the week. I wrote down my schedule, and that was it. And so that just shows you that bullet journaling can just be whatever you need it to be when you're not feeling creative or whatever. Next is March. I did a butterfly theme. I don't remember what creator I got this from. It was definitely off Instagram, and I loved this one so much. It took a little bit of work to practice the butterflies, but after I got it, it was so fun to create them, and I love this setup. Here was a spread I made when I went on vacation, and I kind of just journaled what happened that week. And now we're back into some more daily journaling, and now we're in April, which was a boba theme. I have these pastel Tombow markers I've had like since my first year of bullet journaling, and they're just dying out. I think they're almost all dead right now. And so I created this theme and that would dry them up. Even as you guys are watching, I also loved flipping through these pages. I think I don't get a chance to look through my bullet journals very often, especially when I'm looking for inspiration or I'm just kind of bored of my bullet journal. I love looking back on my old bullet journals and seeing what I did and what weekly spreads I loved. And so I love flipping through this just as much as you love watching. Here's my May setup. I just painted some flowers on a little note card, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I love this painting. So I created it on a larger scale by just taking a larger piece of paper and then painting it and then gluing it down.
And
now we're into
June,
on
which
the May
is
bullet
the
journal
summer months.
And there's not very many weekly
I was
spreads,
working this month
as
at
you can
Insurance
tell
if
throughout
you're
this
not aware of that
month, because I did not have school.
So
I still need a calendar to keep track of what events I had, and I did one for July as well to keep track of the things I was doing. And there's a lot of fun spreads here, like when I went to summer camp. I was also really into reading from Haley Pham, and so I created a page with different things I wanted to request from the library so I could go home and read them. Here's some summer camp spreads where I just journaled the sermons, and then I had a little under summer recap, and so we're ready to get on to the next journal. Welcome back. My new journal that I got in May for my birthday, and I think it was like $20 or something like that. So it was definitely one of the more expensive journals I've ever bought. But I'm going to be flipping through this now, and it's only halfway filled, so you're going to see me continuing to use this, especially for the January setup and I'm hoping it will last me at least till the end of the school year, which is April/May. I love the beginning of this bullet journal. I loved that I used a neutral palette and I did a bunch of simple doodles. Here's a bookmark that I also have loved using and definitely suggest you trying it. And it's basically just a piece of paper I put in a tiny envelope, and whenever you're creating your spreads and you don't know what half of your page is, either vertically or diagonally, you can just pull that little bookmark out of the cover and use it to measure. Now we are into August, which I did as Uno cards, and the cover page for this took forever. I remember I was at my grandma's house working on it for like 2 hours each day, working on these little note cards with numbers on them and then having them with different colors. And then at some point I was trying to do the whole deck of Uno, so like each number of each color, and it was kind of hard to keep track of. I think I lost it at the end. Now we are into September, which I did was a little book theme. As I said before, I really loved reading, especially during the summer, and so I highlighted a couple books that I loved the most and put a lot of book quotes in here. October was such a fun month in my life and in my bullet journal. I did a watercolor bakery theme, and it had cooking pots, different foods, and so I loved using my watercolors in this. I will say it was really hard to transfer the watercolor paints with me wherever I went, whereas normally I'd just have my markers in my pencil case and I could just carry that around, and so that made it difficult. A lot of times I just created my weekly spreads when on the go, and then I came home and used a couple minutes to just watercolor paint them in. Now we're into November, which was kind of just brown. This weekly spread is my favorite, which is just like brown colors and fun pictures I took. I didn't really have a theme idea for this one. Now we're into December,
So that's what I did for
which
this month.
this month was really fun to create because I just made a little page of a bunch of different Christmas doodles, and then I incorporated almost all of them in my weekly spreads and in my journaling spreads. For the last few weeks, I don't have school, and so I just started creating a bunch of pages of what I did each day and kind of just an overview of the days, and it's really scrapbooky, and I just loved doing that recently. Now we're at the end. This is the very last page of my bullet journal thus far. I do have a January bullet journal set up that will either come out before or after this video, so stay tuned for that. I have tons of pages that I'm going to be able to fill this year. And if you're so inspired, create your own bullet journal for 2023 and just use it for a creative outlet. Make sure to subscribe and like down below. Thank you so much for watching.